Welcome to this explainer. We're going to do something a little different today, and honestly, it's going to be a lot of fun. We are unpacking a densely packed creative brief that was built to pitch a high-energy, cinematic car reveal. Now I know, there's a fantastic meta-irony here. We're using a static, highly structured format to deconstruct a brief meant for a high-speed, adrenaline-pumping 4K supercar commercial. But honestly, that's exactly why this works so well. By literally freezing the action, we can pop the hood and see the hidden mechanics of how hype is engineered. So let's get right into it.
Take a look at the very first instruction in this brief. It doesn't kick off with a flashy car, it doesn't start with explosions, it dictates a mysterious black screen. Think about what that actually does to you as a viewer. By instantly establishing visual sensory deprivation, you're forced to lean in. You're completely in the dark, wondering what on earth is coming next. It's an absolutely classic cinematic hook.
And then, while you're just staring at that black void, the brief layers in purely auditory information, the sound of an engine starting. Massive suspense is built before you even see the product. Your brain is doing all the work here, filling in the blanks. You're anticipating the sheer power of the machine solely through sound design, creating this huge emotional reaction before a single visual of the car is ever shown.
Finally, the visual reveal hits. But notice how it's described. It's not just a sudden flood of stadium light. Suddenly, headlights illuminate through thick smoke. They're using the smoke to slowly, dramatically, and almost aggressively unveil this futuristic supercar. It's basically a calculated striptease of a product reveal, making the car look like an absolute beast waking up in the shadows.
From that incredibly broad, mysterious atmosphere, the pacing completely flips. We pivot straight into hyper-focused granularity, framing the futuristic details. The brief dictates extreme close-ups of very specific components. LED headlights, a carbon fiber body, alloy wheels, brake calipers, the steering wheel, a digital dashboard, and an aggressive exhaust. What's really wild here is that this isn't just a random list of car parts jotted down on a napkin. It's a highly specific blueprint. By mandating extreme close-ups of these exact premium materials, like carbon fiber and alloys, it instantly cements a high-end, futuristic aesthetic. We're literally being told to marvel at the craftsmanship. And to capture all of those details, the brief demands absolute visual perfection. It specifically dictates terms like cinematic depth of field alongside dramatic lighting and realistic reflections. This is super crucial. The creator isn't just saying, hey, make it look cool. They're demanding photorealistic quality, where the background just melts away into a beautiful blur, keeping our absolute focus right on the sharp, premium lines of the car. It guarantees the vehicle looks tangible, expensive, and totally hyper-realistic. But, we can't just sit static forever. The brief immediately shifts gears. We transition straight from those intimate, quiet details right into a breathtaking nighttime highway drive. The car starts accelerating and the energy just skyrockets. This brilliantly illustrates a very methodical progression of camera movement. Step 1, those microscopic extreme close-ups. Step 2, ultra-low tracking and rear chase shots that put you right down on the pavement. And finally, Step 3, aerial drone shots for this massive, expansive God's eye view. It scales methodically from the tiny weave of carbon fiber all the way up to a sweeping landscape. Yet right smack in the middle of all that blistering highway speed action, the creators ingeniously mandate a moment of slow-motion wheel rotations. Think about how jarring and effective that actually is. By freezing the fastest-moving part of the car, they're heavily emphasizing the pure kinetic energy and raw power of the vehicle. It's a split second to catch your breath while simultaneously being overwhelmed by the physics of the machine. Okay, so now that the visual adrenaline is totally pumping, the brief expertly pivots to layering messaging directly onto these visuals. This is exactly where we see the brand identity take shape. It calls for sleek, futuristic text overlays to just flash back to back. Damn, power. The text flashes to reinforce that visceral roar of the engine and the aggressive exhaust we just witnessed. Speed, layered right on top of that, tying directly back to those ultra-low-angle tracking shots on the highway. Design, hitting the screen to remind us of the carbon fiber and that cinematic depth of field, totally building up the automotive persona. Technology, the final hit in this rapid-fire sequence. In mere seconds, this barrage of text establishes 4 unshakable, high-impact brand pillars. It tells the viewer exactly how to categorize what they're feeling. And then we just slam on the brakes. The pacing completely slows down,
The brief outlines a dramatic stop right in front of a futuristic city skyline. All of that wild, kinetic energy is instantly harnessed. The car comes to this majestic halt, and that sweeping skyline sets a massive, grand stage for the ultimate climax of the commercial. The brand reveal, MR Motor Feature, drops in bold, metallic typography. After everything we've just seen and felt, this logo doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It absolutely demands your attention. It feels entirely earned. And right underneath that bold typography sits the tagline, "Where cars become stories." The crucial point here is that this tagline totally changes the context of the brief. It elevates the commercial from a simple showcase of a fast machine into a deeply compelling narrative experience. It promises the viewer that they aren't just buying hardware, they're buying straight into a legend.
All right, now we have to look at perhaps the most fascinating element of this entire brief. It's actually not the smoke or the drone shots or even the tagline. It's the highly specific technical constraints hidden at the very end. First up, the creator demands 4K resolution. They want an ultra-detailed, photorealistic, premium automotive commercial. That requires the absolute highest tier of pixel density to make sure those water droplets on the carbon fiber and the glow of the LED lights look hyper-real. But here's the wild part. The brief demands vertical 9:16. Just look at the brilliant juxtaposition here. All of that expansive cinematic grandeur, the aerial drone shots, the low-angle chases, the sweeping futuristic city skyline, all of it must be forced into a highly restrictive, tall, narrow vertical aspect ratio.
And why? Because the brief states this must be optimized for YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok. This masterpiece of light, sound, and speed isn't engineered for a massive IMAX movie theater. No, it's engineered specifically to dominate your phone screen. It's designed to stop you from doom scrolling, leveraging these algorithmic platforms to inject a multi-million-dollar aesthetic directly into the palm of your hand.
Which brings us to our final thought. The anatomy of this hype is incredibly calculated, blending high art cinema with ruthless social media optimization. So if cars become stories, as the tagline suggests, how are you constructing your own digital narratives? In a crowded feed where absolutely everyone is scrolling at light speed, what kind of smoke, sound, and focus are you using to make people stop and look? Think about that next time you open up your apps. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.